Miss Stano. I wanted to give you guys a video on how to make an amazing Google slide presentation, because something I'm noticing is when you're given an assignment to do a Google slide, some of you just type your paper into a Google slide, which gives us all the information, but typically a Google slide is for you to present to someone else and give them some information. So first what you want to do is open up a new Google slide, and you can decide whatever kind of slide you want to do, however you want it to look. I might just choose this one. Okay, so let's say my teacher assigned me to do a Google slide, and I'm supposed to look at this article of Washington's Secrets Revealed from Scholastic. So I'm going to read through this. Washington's Secrets Revealed. Quick, name an American more famous than George Washington. It's tough. Just about everyone knows he served as our nation's first president, but other things about him might surprise you. Here are 5 secrets we uncovered on a recent visit to Mount Vernon, Washington's Virginia home. So it would be really easy to copy and paste that and make a great introduction. However, part of digital citizenship is making sure you're putting this stuff in your own words. So first of all, I would go back to my Google slide, make a title, Washington's Top Secrets. And then I'm going to cite where I got this information from. That's a good tool just to have in your arsenal. So I'll put this in my subtitle. From the Scholastic Resource. Oh, that didn't fit there. Okay, so let me think about this again. Maybe I'll put it here. Based on an article by Scholastic. Oh no, it doesn't fit in my white box. Well, I better make the writing just a little bit smaller. It's at 68 right now. That's a huge size font. Typically on a Google slide, you want to have it somewhere between 45 and 50, just so that people can read it even if they're in the back of the room. When your teachers are looking at this, obviously it's not being projected like it is on the screens in our classroom, but it's just a good practice to have. So I'm going to make this about 50. Then right here for my subtitle, I'm going to write my name. By Miss Stano. Okay, so I've got my title. So then I'm just going to look at it and go, you know what, there was 5 secrets, so I'm going to go secret number 1. I'll add another slide. Secret number 2. Oop, number 2. Okay, let me add one more. Secret, click there. All right, secret number 3. Another one, secret number 4. And last one, secret number 5. And then just like if you were writing a paragraph or an essay, you typically want to have an ending or a conclusion. So I'm going to add my last slide and make it a conclusion. All right, so now I got to go back in the article and read. So secret number 1, back to my article. He didn't want to be president. Well, all right, so why didn't he want to be president, and what were the reasons? So for this one, I'm going to try to put this in my own words. They wrote he didn't really want to be president. I could put, going back to slide 1, secret number 1. He was not eager to be president. So then I'm going to add the text. Now here's the cool part about using a slide. You can do what's called bullet points. And if I close right here where the themes are, and I go up to these 3 dots, it will show me bulleted list or numbered list. So I could do either one of those. If you're making a list, you'd probably want to do numbers, but if you're just giving facts, you just do this, and it just puts a little dot there to let us know that these are just facts. So each one should be a phrase or a sentence. If you're doing this as a presentation in class, you might just put the facts as words. So it would look something like this. All right, so I read this. In 1787, Washington helped create the U.S. Constitution. That famous document set up our nation's government, but Washington had no interest in being the president. He wanted to go home to Virginia and retire. He only agreed to accept the job when people all over the country urged him to. Washington was so popular that no one ran against him. He was sworn in as the first U.S. president on April 30th, 1789. All right, so I could put here, he helped create the Constitution. And I'm just going to write it in my own words. He wanted to go back home when that was finished. He was so popular. People did not run against him for president. And I'm going to write my own words. He got stuck with the job. So those are reasons he's not eager to be president. Now, I like to do what's called zhuzhing it up, just adding a little bit more to make it interesting. So I would probably want to include a graphic of George Washington. So I would go back to my Google George Washington, and I'll look at my images, and I would find one. And which one do I like? All right, I'll pick this one. And I'll save the image on my desktop. Washington 1. Save. And then go right here and insert the image. Upload it from the file. Washington 1. And there he is. I want to make this look interesting, and I want my readers to be interested in seeing it. This is a little bit boring. So I'm going to make the text just a little bit bigger. Usually for the title, again, you'd probably want it to be about 40. I just look and see how far I can get it large enough so that it doesn't do 2 lines. And for here, when I get to 42, it goes 2 lines. So I'm just going to do 1. And then right here for the bulleted part, you want to have it at least 20, maybe 25. Again, I just make it big enough so it's not going bigger than the slide. So then that makes it a little bit more easy for my readers to look at it and see some information. So then secret 2. I'm going to look at secret 2. He led a ring of spies. Ooh, so I'm going to read that part. From 1775 to 1778, America fought the Revolutionary War to win its independence from Great Britain. Washington was in charge of the American troops. He had his men spy on British soldiers in restaurants and other places to find out what they were planning. Then the spies used secret codes and invisible ink to pass the information on to Washington. This helped America win the war. So I right now have an idea for a picture. I'm going to look up spies. Ooh, and this is perfect. I've got a couple pictures where you don't quite see the people, nondescript. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go spy 2, and I just put a 2 so I know it's slide 2. So in here, I'll insert my image, upload it from the computer, spy number 2, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger over here. And this time I'm going to, just to make it a little bit more visually interesting, I'm going to move the text to the right. So that'll help my reader who's looking at this have some more interesting things to say. He was a spy is my second secret. And I'm going to look back at slide 1 and say, oh, I made this 41. So I'm going to see if I can make this 41 too, so it's continuing with the same kind of style. Okay, 41. I don't want to make it too big. Alright, so then I've got he was a spy, and I can pull this up a little bit. And then what were my fun facts about spies? Alright, let me go back and look. Alright, scanning. Alright, so he worked to see what the British Army was doing by planting spies, in restaurants. Let's see if there's something else. He used secret codes and invisible ink. They used secret codes and invisible ink. Alright, so then there we go. I've got that in there. I'm going to, again, try to get it about up to 30. I think the other one, let me see. That was 23. So I'm going to try to make the font about the same size for all of them. There we go. Secret number 2, he was a spy. Alright, we got 3 more secrets. So let's see. What was secret number 3? He never called the White House home. In 1791, Washington helped choose the location of our capital city, the area that is now Washington, D.C. But he never lived there. During his presidency, Washington led the nation from New York City, then Philadelphia. The new capital, including the White House, was not ready until 1800, a year after Washington died. The city was named in his honor. So, secret number 3, he never lived in the White House. So I'm going to put it in my own words. He never lived in the White House. And I'm going to remember to put in my bulleted list. I'm going to make my font 23 because that's been consistent. The White House was built the year after he died. The second part was he led the nation from New York City and then Philadelphia. So I'll say he led from New York, then Philadelphia. Let's see if I'm missing anything else. I might want to put in the fact that it took 9 years to build the White House. It took 9 years to build the, capitalized, White House. Okay, so then I'm going to just move this text this way. And if you use these dots as a helper, it helps you to make these text boxes even sizes. So we'll go over here to White House. Find a picture of it. I'm going to take this old-timey one, save image, White House 3, save it. Then I'm going to insert my image, upload it from the computer, White House 3. Now let's say I wanted to add something else. I can also insert a text box that says, this is a picture of the White House. This might be something that is a caption, so it can be a little bit smaller. That's a 14. So that lets my teacher know what I've got going right here. I could also insert audio. So if I have an audio file saved, I could put it in there. So you could record your own voice and then insert it in there. If there's a video you have that is of you discussing it, you could do that. If I wanted to add a shape or an arrow, maybe like this one, just to be fancy, to direct people's eyes over here to the caption, I can put that down there. You don't want to add too much to your slide because then it becomes overwhelming. But adding 1 or 2 of these little things just adds a little more interest. So let's just keep going. Okay, he was an amazing dancer. Did you know that our first president was famous for his dancing skills? In the 1700s, dances called balls were a popular form of entertainment. Washington and his wife Martha went to many of them. On one occasion, Washington danced for 3 hours without taking a single break. All right, so secret number 4. Again, in my own words, summarizing. He was a great dancer. George and Martha Washington, gotta capitalize, attended many, I spelled that wrong, many balls. One time he danced for 3 hours without a break. All right. So then, because the first one I had my text on the right, or in the left, I'm going to move this one to the right. I did not put my bullet points, so I can highlight that, come up here, add the bulleted list, and it puts the bullets there. Again, while it's highlighted, I can increase my size. And then I'm going to look for a picture of a dancer. So, making a Google Slides about adding graphics and also words. And I'm going to see, I don't like any of these. So let's say ballroom dancer. And I'm going to see if I can find one that I like. Ooh, it says silhouette. That might be a good one because sometimes back then they did a lot of silhouettes. So I'm going to save this one. Save image. Dancer. This was slide 4. Save it. And then flip back and insert it. So you're going to do a lot of flipping back and forth. And that's okay. That's part of the work of doing this. Add this in here. Make it a little bit bigger. And now we're down to our last secret. He got sick a lot. Washington caught several illnesses in his lifetime. One was smallpox. The disease caused blisters on his face and body. Washington even had unhealthy teeth. By this time he became president, he had just one tooth left in his mouth. Despite his health troubles, Washington lived to be 67. He died from a throat infection in 1799. So for this one, I'm going to say, secret number 5, he had a lot of sicknesses. And then I'm going to add my bullet points. So one of them was, he died from a throat infection. Let's see, what was the other one? He got smallpox and he had unhealthy teeth. He got smallpox. He had unhealthy teeth. Okay, so he died from a throat infection. Probably should be my last one since he died from it. So that's the end. I'm just going to paste it right there. If you push Control or Command if you're using an Apple product and C and highlight something, it will copy it for you. And that's just what I did right there. Okay, I'm going to make my text on the left. I did not make it, whoops. I need to undo that, so I'm going to click this undo button. And I'm going to highlight, move this up to 23. And then I'm going to type in teeth. And I'll just put this picture of these chompers in there. Come on. Don't freeze on me. Oh no. Okay. And it just froze.